Hi everyone, I hope you're doing great. I am very excited to do this November wrap-up, even though I struggle so much to read during the month of November. I just physically cannot. Today we changed a little bit and I decided to try filming in my library, even though I was not sure how the lighting would be. I think it's not bad. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad. I read 12 books during the month of November, and honestly I do not remember what book exactly I read. Like, if you ask me what book did you read in November, I would only be able to tell 2 or 3. That's not really good. I started the month by reading Heart Checked by Stacey, and I only gave this book 3 stars. Last month I read the first book in the whole Ice King series, and I wasn't really interested by the rest of the books except for this one. This is the first book and it is about Sebastian and Gigi. Sebastian is like the married guy in the whole friend group. One day she just leave him and served him divorce paper. He starts a romance with the bartender, who is also the daughter of the owner of the bar. It's about hockey players. The whole team usually go to this bar where Gigi is working, and he starts a romance with her. This book was actually really good. I have a good memory of it. Then I read Bound by Temptation by Cora Reilly. This is the first book in the whole Bound by series. I didn't read the second book. That was, I think it was Bound by Love. It was about the first couple. I don't like having a couple and then having a second book where they can like break up or they're having trouble. That's not really my vibe. And I was so excited for the story of Lynn. That was very disappointing because I remember in my last wrap-up that I said I am very excited to read this book because I think it's gonna be less sexual than the other books. Why was I wrong? There wasn't a lot except that, so I only gave it 2 stars. I was so excited to read this book by Sarah Adam. This is When in Rome, and I just put this book in my library and I didn't even read what it was about, so I thought this was a little story about Rome in Italy. It's actually run in Kentucky. It was fun to find out, but I gave this book 4 stars. It was such a cool book. This is a city girl, small town boy. The main girl is actually a pop star and the boy is he makes pie. He has a pie shop. I found this really funny. This is a very sweet book. I love the fact that there was forced proximity because Amelia, who is the main girl, she had her car broke down right in front of Noah's house and she ended up living with him for the duration of her vacation. I just love this book so much. I read Mariage for One by Ella Mays. This book was very slow to get into. I had so much trouble to start really getting into the story, and I had trouble getting attached to the people. I actually gave this book 3 stars still because I think I really liked the end and how the man was just groveling for her, but I was not a big fan of. Then I read 2 other books by Devney. I read Juniper Hill and Garnet Flats. I loved Indigo Ridge, the first book that I read last month. This month, Juniper Hill and Garnet Flats was both 4 stars, but it was a little bit underneath it. In Juniper Hill we have following Knox, who is the brother of the main guy, and Indigo Ridge, I am so bad with name, it's horrible. It was very touching, but it's not the kind of love that I love to see because it was very present. At the end I was like, it's a bit too much, you don't know each other for that long. And in Garnet Flats it was kind of second chance because it is about her ex who actually married her best friend right after they broke up, and he's just coming back in their life with things to say. Then I read a very, very dark romance that I don't want to talk a lot about because I really liked the main book, not the novella / little. I read Sentence of Her by Carlton, HD, I don't know, and Hunting Adeline. I heard so much talk about this book on Book Talk, and I was like, I need to know what it is about. This is a very, very dark story, book, everything. I was very shocked. I didn't like Sentence of Her. I only gave this 2 stars. I think it's good to read it before the whole Adeline series, but I don't think it's necessary if you don't want to read it. So Hunting Adeline is about a stalker falling in love. Well, a stalker in love with the person he's stalking, in this case Adeline, and she's slowly falling in love with her stalker. Her stalker is also Z. He's working to take down human traffics and everything. I gave Hunting Adeline 4 stars, and I did not finish currently Hunting Adeline, but I think I will give it 4 stars. But there is a lot of trigger warnings, especially about the second book. I was really shocked about some stuff that happened in the second book. I would really advise for you to read the trigger warning at the beginning of the book. You have to be in a certain mindset to read those books, and if I didn't finish for now the second one, it is for a reason. I read the famous Consider Me by Becka Mack. I heard about this OK story for such a long time. I was so excited to read about it, and this was really, really good. But I only gave this book 3 stars. This is the story of Carter and Olivia. Carter is a very famous hockey player, and Olivia is a high school gym teacher. I only gave this book 3 stars because even though I love the characters, I really like the writing style. I just was so done with the back and forth. There is a lot of back and forth. They are going very fast and then just stopping and then going very fast once again. It was a lot, and that's why I only gave it 3 stars. Then I read Sinners Anonymous by Somme Sketcher, and I gave this book 3 stars. I liked it. I was just told that the second and the third book was way better, so I think I'm gonna read them, even though based on the first book I would not have read them because it was not that incredible. This is a mafia story, but it's not way too much, I think. It's the story of Rory, who had to accept marrying the, I don't know, he's the chef, but I don't remember his name. It's not the Don, but he's like up there in the hierarchy, and he's 70 years old while she's only 17, so this is a big age gap. She has to do it for her father. And Angelo, he's actually the nephew of this man, just came back to the city and just had his sight on Rory. We see how the story unfolds. It was slow to get into action, but I was still entertained from the beginning to the end. Then I read this book so freaking quickly. This is 4 Months, 3 Words by C.W. Farnsworth. It is a princess who just goes to America to study for 1 semester, and she falls in love with the captain of the football team. And I was like, this is so sweet. And this book was really sweet. It was going very fast, but she didn't tell him that she was actually the princess of the country. It's a little country in Europe, and I thought it was 1 book, and then I was left on a cliffhanger. So now I absolutely need to read the second book, but I cannot find it for the life of me. So please tell me where to read the second book. And then I finally finished Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi. I now only have 1 book, and it's a novella left in the Shatter serie before I be done with this. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed by the end. It was not, I was hoping for more. So this is every book that I read in November. I hope you had a great time. Tell me what was your favorite book of the month. I think for me it was probably When in Rome. I really, really like that book. Don't forget to subscribe and put a thumbs up. That would help me so much. We'll see each other very soon. Bye!